few weeks ago, I had this real craving for a burger. I wanted to eat a good burger, and I decided to do what most of us sit here and do. Pulled out my phone, opened up the food ordering app, and typed in the word burger, and I got 118 results in a 4-kilometer radius. Suddenly, I had to make a decision to order a burger, and I had to choose between 118 of those. So I was like, okay, how do I do this now? So we did what we do best, went on to Google and typed in, what's the best burger in Bombay? Then I went down a deep rabbit hole from how many calories in a burger to our burgers really unhealthy. And finally, 45 minutes of Googling, 25 minutes on Zomato, and a 10-minute delivery later. So delivery comes faster than decision making really. So 60 minutes later, I had the best biryani I've ever had. I'm very proud to say that. And that, I mean, you might just turn around and say, what a fickle guy, right? But that's exactly what we're all going through. There are decisions we want to make. And by the time we make a decision, the decisions change. And there are a lot of nudges that have happened in the system that lead us, that kind of impact these decisions. And what led me to move from a burger to a biryani, right? It's everything from a discount coupon to the photographs that were shown to me to a freebie or a free gulab jamun that they offered. All these nudges slowly change these decisions. And I realized that more you think about it, and that's what we're all going through on a daily basis, the smartest minds in the world have been put there to help nudge and change your decisions. The average human brain, you and I sitting here, are making 35,000 decisions a day. And we assume that because these are decisions that impact us, we're completely in control of these. But my larger question to ask, and this is something that we really need to know, is are we really in control of this decision? I wanted a burger, I was in control of that. I ordered a biryani, I assume I did that. But was that my decision, or was that Zomato's algorithm that drove me there, right? And that's kind of what led me to decide, this is the guy who's decided my decision for me. This smart person sitting there, overpaid employees of multiple teams who have these small little traps that kind of nudge me into a direction that profits them. I'll be completely, I'm guilty of being this person. I've been in this position before. I have done this in my previous 2 stints at work. This is what I do. I've kind of crafted lines that nudge you to take decisions which you think are yours, but not necessarily yours. So I thought maybe it's a good time to use this stage to give you a quick roundup of a few traps that we've set that help me sabotage your decision and help me navigate the thing of it. Right? So the point here is maybe I'll talk about a few traps that we've set, help you look at it. Now, I'm not saying that at the end of this talk you're going to be able to order better on Zomato, but probably at the end of this talk, the whole idea is that tomorrow when the larger decisions that you're going to be making in life, maybe keep in mind that, hey, these traps are in place, right? So let's step straight into the first trap that I'm talking about, right? Now, this trap, I want you to picture the scenario of getting into an electronic store. You guys have been to these large electronic stores that exist, right? Or any of these stores. There is a serious amount of science that goes behind what is put where in those shelves. Every shelf that you see, every product you see, what you think is an innocent shelf, there is a lot of science and a lot of data and a lot of thinking and a lot of overpaid people telling you where what is put. So I give you the first example of this electronic store, and if you walk into any electronic store today, as you open the doors, you will see a display of the products that they have, one product each. So there will be a TV, there will be a fridge, there will be a thing, and as you walk in, you'll have the others. And there's clear-cut price points put to all of them, right? So as I enter, it just says LED TV only 65,000 rupees. And you think, oh, okay, great, that's the first thing. But you realize the science that has happened here. What they've done here is they've laid the first level of the trap. This is called the anchoring trap. Now, you walked into the store, we have anchored a price to you. When we say 65,000 rupees for a TV, in your head now, you didn't know what price of a TV is. Suddenly 65,000 is the price that's been anchored. Any TV below 65,000, according to you, will be less expensive. any TV above 65,000 to you would be more expensive. Now your decision making sits in that realm. They've kind of put an anchor there and they've led you into it. You walk in, I walk through these shelves and come across, and sorry, I just come back and explain this is what a quick write-up that I've put in there. It leads people to make decisions based on the initial piece of information. And this is something that we always do, right? The first piece of information we get, we take that and kind of take a decision based on that, and that's what is being exploited here. So you walk into the shelf and you see these three TVs now put there. There's a 42-inch at 41,999, 50-inch at 49,999, and a 65 at 75,999. What has happened right now is that you walked in probably to buy that 42-inch TV. 65,000 was the anchored price, and as you walk in and you see these three TVs set up here, and you're like, okay, the 65 is out way too expensive, so you've put that out because they've anchored that price. Suddenly the 50-inch is sitting in your budget. And what they have done very cleverly is made you spend that extra 8,000 rupees by just getting one small nudge right at the beginning. This is what we call as the anchoring trap, and very, very widely used across situations. And going forward to this generation of people who are going to be coming out, you're getting into your first jobs, etc. The first place you'll see this happening is when you meet your dear old HR from your company. So salary negotiation, I mean, why do you think every year large reports are being put out saying benchmarks, salary benchmarks, so on and so forth? Everybody, these reports are being funded by these companies themselves so that we can anchor a certain price to it. So when you are sitting across for a negotiation, they have already told you, hey, we are going to be paying you 12 lakh CPC for this job. Now you will go up by 20% or go down by 20%, but you're not gauging your worth basis of what you're actually doing. And that's the trap that you'll fall into for the anchoring trap. So be very, very particularly wary of these anchors in negotiations. Think through your position before any negotiation begins, right? So you don't, make sure that this is something I'll keep in mind. Don't let an anchor listen you, but at the same time, look for an opportunity to set the anchor. I've seen, a lot of times in price negotiations, we kind of stand back and say, we wait for the other person to offer the price. We keep saying this, be the first person who puts the price in front, because that's how you start from a point of power there. So that's something you keep in mind, the anchoring trap. That's the first one I wanted to talk about. The second trap we always lay out, right? We play on the minds of people using the dilemma of choice. The minute you have, it's a scientifically proven fact that in answer sheets, we all get very, very excited when we see multiple choice questions, right? But a multiple choice question is the most difficult thing to answer, because the person who's setting it can keep swaying your mind from one point to the other. Whereas if it's the other questions, you know exactly where you're going to your ultimate answer. Multiple choice suddenly opens up 4 other options to you, and then you start questioning your own point of view. So that's something that people exploit a lot. I'll give a quick example of how this was done, right? So I want to run this business magazine case study. So this happened early when the digital age was coming out, everybody is moving and reading online and so on and so forth. So this business magazine realized that, hey, listen, a lot of our users are reading all my articles online, so maybe we should relook at our subscription plans, right? So they decided that, hey, we used to have a print magazine, can we launch a digital subscription plan of sorts? And that's when they came out with 1 year digital subscription, 599 rupees, and 1 year print subscription at 1299 rupees. Came out with the plan, and within 3 months, their print subscriptions almost went to 0. They literally started plummeting. Everybody started taking the digital thing. The point was that we need you to buy this for them to survive, right? They were publishing a magazine. So what do? They went to the smartest people in the room. They hired them. They said, okay, hey, how do we do this? You tell me what's the best way to get people to do it. Do I reduce the price of my print, but that means your profits go down? What can we do? What can we improve? Multiple things that to be thought about, but all that they did was just change the subscription plan by adding one additional option. So digital subscription 599, print subscription 1299, print plus digital subscription 1299. Just by adding this one option additionally, when this was shared in a room of 100 people, saying, hey, which option would you choose? The 22% of them went for the digital one, So nobody went for just print, but print and digital suddenly shot up to 78. And that just changed the option, right? So what, as a human mind, if you look at it, when presented with two options, it's these two that you're fighting against. But when I present you with three, your mind suddenly changes and you start comparing the two options that are there at the bottom and say, hey, this seems to be value for money because you added the two. And that's the reason why people go in there. And this is a trap that is being set very, very actively. Human beings can be fascinatingly irrational when it comes to making these choices. We're conditioned to compare and decide between two similar objects and completely ignore the third one. So that third one, what we call as a decoy, is always put out there. So think about this many, many times when you're given options. If you're not reading this carefully, one of them is just a decoy. They don't even, it's just not going to matter to you, but you're going to compare those two and make a decision. The exact same plan when they repeated it this way without the third option again. Now digital and print and digital, again they saw the numbers change completely. So people, if you give, the minute you give them more than one choice, the game changes on the equation there. I want to show you where this comes into play on a daily basis to you as well, right? This happened to me when I was ordering that burger at Zomato as well. I was going to check out, it says delivery fee 50 rupees. Said, hey, add a gold subscription at 199 or get gold subscription and delivery fee at 199. I mean, obviously it was going to be the same. I fell for that trap, I added that gold subscription, I didn't need it. And that's exactly what this happens. So everything is relative even when it shouldn't be. And the best visual example is this, right? The orange circles on both sides are of the same size. But your brain tricks you into thinking that this is bigger and that is smaller because what is around you. And that's the human psychology trick that we all use very, very actively in this side of things. Are you guys hungry? Yeah? Or rather, I should have asked you, you guys aren't hungry, are you? See, now when I ask you this question, half the time the answer is no. Because I don't want you to say yes, because I don't know how I can solve for that problem if you did say yes. But this is a classic case of my third trap that I was talking about, which is called the framing trap. How we present our choices influence the way every decision is made. Today, if I was to turn around and tell you, if I was to ask you, are you hungry? The answer would be yes or no. But hey, you're not hungry, right? Automatically the chances of you responding in the positive drops so much further, right? Now, a lot of people use this very exploitatively across segments to get people to answer this. And there are two ways to frame this, right? You can frame something as a gain, or you can frame something as a loss. And each of these situations are used by marketers, by people to kind of get you to move into their decision. I'll give you my favorite example again of human resources when you're sitting for your next job interview. Go to this fancy company and the first thing they tell you, hey, we're a fast growing company and if you do really well, you have a 30% chance of getting to a C-level position in 5 years. You come out saying, excellent, I am fully motivated, I'm aspiring to be that C-level position, I have a 30% chance. But what they're also saying, if I flip this around as a framing as a loss, is we're a fast growing company where we only hire top professionals. So there is a 70% chance you will never make it to C-level. Okay? So there is the framing as a gain suddenly made you so excited to join this place. But if you were to actually step back and look at that question, it could even be looked at the other way around. And that's something that we always miss. So people tend to tell you things the way you want to hear it and not necessarily the way they actually trying to say it. Again, the smart person in the room is sitting there to figure this out. And like I said, framing as a loss also works in a certain way, and framing as a gain also works in a certain way. And these guys have figured this out, sitting there saying that what kind of a product do I frame as a loss and what kind. So every time we are writing copy, we write copy as framing as a gain and framing as a loss and test it out with two people to see how it is. So hey, 20% off if you buy now is the first option given to one set of people, and to the other set of people, hey, you are going to miss out on the 20% off if you don't buy now. And suddenly we try to see who is analyzing what, who's buying what, and that's the framing thesis that we kind of use. And this loss frame always taps into fears and concerns, and it completely influences decision making, right? So Insurance companies use this a lot. When have you seen secure your family's financial future with insurance? Nobody says that. They protect against the loss. So automatically there's fear that's coming in, and that's where insurance companies play it. So they use this framing as opposed to the first one. So this framing statements or framing trap is something that is very, very dangerous and exists everywhere. So the only way to answer this is you have to question all assumptions that are presented. Look at the context in which this has been asked and try and see that, hey, does this even work in this context? Can I flip it around and ask this question, because you never know where you're getting it. The idea of me doing this is not to improve your next Amazon order or your next Zomato order, but what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of these traps that have been set by people, right? And I mean, trap may sound like a very negative word, but these have been set there so that we are able to nudge and influence your decision. Always question the obvious. And that's what I keep saying. Everything that is there, always try to question the constraint, question the thing, and then you will find a better solution. So when you're making a decision, what looks like the obvious is great, that might just be the answer, but always question it, and then that might help you go through the entire piece. There are a lot more traps like this, but I don't think we have enough time, and I don't think I'll have a job if I tell you all my traps. So I'm going to end with something that I've always wanted to say. Thank you for coming to my TEDx talk.